Good evening. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. This is the Grant County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for May 6th, 2024. Could we have a roll call for attendance, please?
Atkins.
Yes.
Johnson.
Present.
Jones.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Pearson.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Hartman.
Here. Okay. Next on the agenda is to approve the minutes of April the 1st. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, we could have a motion.
I make the motion we approve the minutes.
We have a motion from Mr. Atkins. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Mrs. Jones.
Atkins.
Yes.
Johnson.
Abstain.
Okay. Jones.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passed. We have findings of fact to approve for 01SP-24 Pearl Lennon Trust. Do we have a motion to approve the findings?
I'll make a motion to accept.
We have a motion to accept from Mr. Long. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Lois Jones.
Atkins.
Yes.
Johnson.
Abstain.
Jones.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Young.
Yes. Motion passed. At this time, we have public hearings. A tabled hearing from last month, docket 03 BZA V-24. Heath Duke, would you come forward, please? If you would sign in there. Okay, Mr. Duke, would you like to tell us what you would like to do?
Well, my name's Heath Duke. I live at 7244 East 100 South, and I would like to put a pole barn on my property. I'm looking to get a variance to put it close to the property line. Due to the nature of my property, I have a creek that goes through my property that I get quite a bit of water in the main portion of my yard, so this is the reason why I'm trying to put it in the location that I'm trying to put it.
Okay. Has your property been recently surveyed?
Yes, there are still markers on my property.
There are markers?
Yes.
Okay. According to the picture here, the property line on GIS shows the property line in your driveway right now. Are you certain that your driveway is
I
on your
believe the
property?
property line's a little off.
It's a little off?
Yeah,
So,
from where the markers are.
okay. Now, of course, in a situation like this, the property line is your responsibility. And we have no way of knowing exactly where it is, but if we pass a variance, it will be so many feet from the property line. Okay, and so it's your responsibility then of where you put the building, and that you're not too close. Okay, so I want to make that clear. Okay. Also, 0 feet from the property line. That's pretty rare. It would assume then that the workers that built the building would be working on the other property. That there's no place for them to build, really.
The building would sit on my property.
Yeah, the
The
building.
hangs and everything would be on my property.
Okay.
It wouldn't hinder the property next to me in any way. Coming on or off that property, drainage-wise, anything of that nature.
Okay.
When you say markers, are we talking about pins?
That's correct.
So you could string from pen to pen
Yes, sir.
to verify that?
Yes, sir.
On this overhead, is this all woods? This, or I'm sorry, this way, is this all woods?
Yeah.
Okay, so
There's
it's,
probably 3-4 acres of woods there, then
Okay.
another 120 acres of farmland.
okay,
All with a creek that wraps around it, so it's hard to get in and out of that property. And where the property line is to the rear, that's all the creek is.
that's what I was wondering, it's a creek line right here where these trees are.
Yeah.
So this is the area that's flooding down into this area?
Anything west of the septic system.
Okay.
The water can get in.
Looks like there's no grass there to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we get a heavy rain and it's real fast, that it's coming. It basically drains all the fields around there and we get water in that area.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
wondering.
building down there is not really an option.
Yeah.
So why do you want such a big building? 30 feet by 80, is that what?
Well, the barn itself is going to be a 30 by 50, and then there's going to be just a 30 by 30 sitting area on the back portion of it, just a,
That's what you'd call a pavilion.
correct, yeah,
In alignment with the pool.
correct. And that's for storage, equipment, camper. I live with 4 women, so any overflow.
What was that statement?
We strike that.
I didn't hear that.
So in this picture, it appears you have a tower and a well head. Where will the building lay in regard to the tower and the well?
To the rear of that. It will, as you see the ground fall off, that it will be up in that area. So the back corner of it will be built up, so it's way above the flood area.
So it's going to be on the driveway side of the tower?
It would be to the right of that,
This area.
driveway. Yeah.
So,
Right where the camper's setting is gonna be your left, probably your left corner of that building.
So basically, the building would consume the area between the drive and the pool.
Correct.
And it's past the tower.
Correct.
Is the joining neighbor aware of what you want to do?
I believe there was 2 certified letters sent to them, but I haven't heard anything.
Brian, did you go first?
Brenda sent them out.
I know all the other surrounding neighbors have got letters. And he's on.
So the width of the building is going to put it right on your property line,
He's going to put it within 2 feet of that property.
within 2 feet.
And when we look at setbacks, we look at the exterior wall or the overhang. Do you include the overhang on the setback?
I thought we usually looked at the foundation,
Okay.
but is that what we usually
The
do?
footprint, okay. So you'd actually be a 2-foot setback then is what you'd be requesting? Okay.
Are you willing to compromise the size of the building to 25 feet?
I would be willing to go down.
And that would be 7.
Right.
We pick up 7 feet. That don't seem as critical anymore, but 0 is critical.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, if you would compromise for a 25 by 30, I think I can bring it up anyhow. I can bring it for a vote.
That would be a 25 by 80 building?
Yeah, well, it's not a building. The building's 30 feet.
Oh, the building's
other-
50.
Yeah.
The total is 80
Yeah.
on roof.
30, yeah.
Yeah, the roof is at 80.
So then they get 25 by 50, I think, at that point, instead of 30 by 50.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To be a 7-foot setback.
Yes,
7 foot off
we'd
the
give
property
7,
line.
because it's 7.
I get it.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Is that a common pad there?
Yes, it is. And it would be connected to that,
Okay,
to the east of that.
okay.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah, I didn't know if maybe you could pick up some extra width here if you went over that. I know if you're like starting here, moving that way.
Corner of my house. This is for their property. I wouldn't let him have 0
It's not on that corner of the house.
on his property line next to there.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Well, I guarantee there's nobody gonna build next to it for a while. They're heavily wooded.
Right.
Yeah, when I saw it overhead, it looked solid woods, like I
Yeah,
said.
solid.
I wanted to verify.
So I don't think anybody's gonna build there for right now. They could, but they didn't want to vary it too.
Well, if you've got 7 feet to work with, that's a lot different than.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can do a 25 footer, I will bring that up.
Okay, thank you. You may sit down, Mr. Duke. Is there any opposition to this project? Okay, I'll open this up to discussion amongst the board, and we will close the public hearing at this time.
It'd be good for, be okay, you know, if he agrees to the 7 feet from the property line, I'm fine with that. 0 is, I'm not, I'm not 0 at all.
Does anyone else have any comments or discussion?
Can we ask the petitioner a question?
Yeah, come-
Yes, if
yeah, come back. Okay, go ahead.
you need him to come back.
Yeah, come on.
No consideration if you wanted your 30 foot to make the actual storage part of it wider than the, whatever the pool, the section is in front of the pool?
Say that one, I'm sorry, say that one.
If you wanted your 30 feet and you have 7 feet off, is there any reason why you couldn't make the storage part wider than the section that's going to be in front of the pool?
Yeah, I mean, that could be a possibility.
I mean, I don't know how destined you are for your 30 feet. You know what I'm saying? Wider, come back, narrow to get your,
Right.
It gets kind of close to his house deck there.
okay, that's what I didn't know is whether that was.
The corner of the house isn't too far from
Okay.
the corner of the barn will be, so we're kind of locked in.
Okay.
Like I said, I've explored other options, but with the water situation, this is just kind of the best.
Okay. Thank you.
If we approve a setback, he could change the layout as long as he follows the setback.
Because he hadn't got a permit yet, correct?
Right.
So he could adjust the layout of the building, just setbacks to setback.
Right.
Get creative from there.
He needs to adjust it to turn in a drawing for the permit.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Ryan, do we know what the required setback would be without a variance?
25 foot.
25.
Okay.
As I noted on that second page,
Yeah.
Yeah.
10% of the.
Okay.
That's based off road, correct?
Right.
And is there a minimum, I'm assuming?
5.
5. Okay.
Okay, are we,
Could I ask for 5, just to make sure that my property markers are correct before I mean, I'll have to resurvey to make sure it's in, 5 feet would probably, I mean, that would give me some wiggle room there to make sure that my property markers are actually dead on, is what I'm asking.
okay, so you're requesting a 5-foot variance?
Still think that 7 feet would be more like it because right now he doesn't know and we don't know exactly what the surveyor is going to say when they're going to correct, if there are correction need to be made. So the 7 foot would really, help you either way instead of being close as you think you might be or should be. The surveyor will have to do that.
Well, that would be up to whoever makes the motion, and if there's a second, and if there is a vote on it, it passes.
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept it with a 7-foot variance with his 2 and 5. I say we accept it. I don't know if it's a variance we need or just whatever we need.
A 7-foot setback,
Yes,
a variance reducing it from 25 to 7.
yes.
That'd be an 18-foot reduction.
I would second that.
And we have a second. So we have that motion from Mr. Johnson, and we have that second from Mr. Young.
Atkins,
Question. In the event that when he gets it surveyed, it's just not going to work for him and he wanted to come back and request the 5, how long would he have to wait?
Until the next monthly meeting, depending on when he turns it in.
Okay. Yes.
okay, all right, catching up.
Sorry.
You're fine. Okay, Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, motion passed. I know it's not everything you want, but you got a pretty good chunk there. So, thank you for doing things the correct way. Okay, next on the agenda, docket 04 BZA V-24, Ryan and Amy Beagle. Would you come forward, please? Would you sign in, please, up there? Okay. Would you like to tell us about your need for a variance here?
My name's Ryan, this is my wife Amy. We got Mr. Evans is our next door neighbor back there, and also Mr. Bright, septic who's kind of here on our behalf as well. We're doing things in reverse from what you just did.
Kind of.
And honestly, like, asking for forgiveness can be nice, and my wife will tell you more here in a little bit about the story behind that. So, variances, we want a second building on our property. It's mostly finished. Got to the final inspection and stopped. Plan is to have somebody move in there, from plan all along. And, we have some septic things that are getting, fixed up, and those are all in the works, pending this meeting here today. So those are all, permits that are sitting and waiting for whatever happens today. My wife will kind of give you up to speed after that.
No, we're here apologetic and embarrassed and all confused about how we got to this point, quite honestly, because we were very surprised when we got to the final inspection and this was all stopped on February 26th. At that point, my parents had already sold the house and moved everything out, and we are ready. My parents have health issues, and so this has been a design plan for them. And we were clear about that from the beginning, but apparently, from what we understand, the footprint was seen, but maybe not the blueprint was seen at the very beginning. We learned a lot after February 26th. We were mostly concerned with, obviously, helping my parents move and their health issues and those kinds of things. But we are here to make it right, and we're sorry we're in this position. We're surprised we're in this position. I'm pretty humbled to be here. So, I'm ready to answer whatever questions you have.
So your plan in the beginning was a garage gym, correct?
Our plan beginning was to have a garage and to have like an apartment for my parents to live in. That was our budget, that was our plan with our contractors. So, we explained to them what we want, and
Brian, do they have permits to get started on their plan? What was their plan on the permits?
You have a picture of what we were given. We were given a rectangle with a porch and 2 garage doors, with nothing on the interior, was the original.
That's what I read here. That's why I'm asking the question.
The permit application that we did, again, and I think some of this is going to fall back onto our contractor. When filling out the application, it said there were no bedrooms, no bathrooms, said the entire project was going to cost $35,000. Is what he.
that's new information to us.
So we.
But we want to reiterate, the fact is the property owner needs to be in control of the contractor. That's no excuse for not finding out what they need to do.
I would like to know who stopped it. Did we stop it?
Yes.
We stopped it.
Yes.
For what reason?
We were there, as you can see, you've got the actual permit here. I mean, we were there numerous times. During the rough-in stage, Nicole questioned interior walls. And she talked to the contractor and was told January 23rd, 2024, that it was going to be a garage and a gym. And she also noted that she talked about the separation between the garage and the gym with them. There's got to be a 20-minute smoke shield or firewall in between the two. So she did discuss with the contractor, hey, what are these interior walls, and even talked about fire separation between the two. From 124 or 123.24 to showing up for a final on 2/26/24, she placed a stop work order final showed two bedrooms and a kitchen. At that point, Nicole contacted me, contacted the health department, and I believe you were out next day to walk through and have a discussion.
Why were you not notifying the permit office that you had put 3 bedrooms in the garage?
Ma'am, we've never built anything on our property before, and so we don't have to get permits. That was the contractor getting the permits. And I understand what you're saying, that it's we have to own the responsibility because it's our property. But in the process of it, we're learning things right now at this meeting that we didn't know were presented. And so we trusted the professionals to do their part, and we are in a very big bind because of it. Maybe we should have asked more questions, but there was no warning signs when we continued to pass through inspections. There, on our end, there was no warning signs. Anything was of concern. So I'm a pastor at the River Church. I'm so embarrassed we're here. This was never our intention to be out of any kind of compliance with the county or doing anything wrong.
Ryan, is this the original
Yes.
copy here?
Yes.
Okay.
That and the next page.
Who wrote garage and gym?
All of this is Nicole.
Okay,
I wrote
so just the typed portion up above is that's what started the project?
Yeah, this is our worksheet and then the actual, what we post.
Because doesn't this look different than what we post normally?
This is the new.
This is a new
Yeah, this
form.
is our new software.
I hadn't seen one across the street.
Okay.
So the holdup is a septic more than anything else?
Well, when we got in and Jeff talked to him, the contractor said he brought someone from Miami County that the contractor thought had a reputable reputation in Miami County. And then Jeff started talking to him about permits and soil testing, and the contractor kind of said, oh, I guess that does make sense. They never did that. So there was a system that was put in for this addition, or for this new structure, that was unacceptable to the health department. And I think that led to looking at the home septic system, and again, that just kind of led to bigger fish.
Now, the home septic system has a single drain that goes out to the field tile. Is that what this picture is telling us?
Correct.
Correct? Okay.
And we lived there for 12 years and didn't know that either.
Okay. Yeah, until you have trouble with something, a lot of times you don't know what's out there. Okay.
I did hear you guys say you're getting it corrected though.
We have a plan submitted that is pending this meeting. We're ready to go.
For a 6-bedroom, whole new system.
And I'm assuming that's true. Would that correct both systems? Because it looks like there's two that are, is it that right? There's
That's
two that
what
are
we
not in
were-
compliance?
Okay.
And the design is to fix both of those systems and make them compliant?
Correct.
Okay.
But what does the state say about 2 properties on side by side?
Our local ordinance.
Yeah, the local ordinance both.
Yeah, so this is kind of where the variance is coming in. Our local ordinance says that you're allowed to have 1 residence per 20 acres.
Right.
They've got 2.3 acres. So there are options. They could split the property, and if they split the property, each property was required to have at least 1 acre. So they've got 2.3.
Right.
So, but I don't believe that is the way they want to do it, so that's.
If they split it, they would require 2 septic systems.
Right.
There you go.
But did I read also that you could have an in-law suite as a separate structure on the same property? Did I read that?
Yes.
And that would comply? Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you guys say it was an in-law suite?
Yes, my parents, my dad had 3 strokes, and my mom had a heart attack within 4 months in 2022, and that's when we started trying to figure out what to do.
So Ryan, if that's an in-law suite and the septic system was fixed, would that comply with our code and ordinance?
Again, when we get into the ordinance, for our ordinance, it says they can't have a kitchen.
Not the kitchen?
Right.
Okay, what's defined as a kitchen?
Would be pretty much a sink.
A sink. Okay.
And we've had them, excuse me, we've had them before that they, tell us, okay, yeah, we're gonna get rid of the sink, and then we dig around the board and there's plumbing. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, I'm just, so again, it would be, if we go with the mother-in-law's quarters, maybe they do have a kitchen with a kitchen sink. So it would be the variance possibly to allow a sink. And I did put that in there, didn't I?
I thought there was language on the in-law.
Yeah, I thought I put it in there so that you guys could see that too.
So really what you're asking us to approve something that we know was illegal in the first place.
Because it wasn't split up.
Right?
What you're saying.
Yeah, that
It wasn't
and,
split up first.
yeah.
And we went from a garage
Yeah, we
gym
went from a
to a,
garage to an apartment.
You can call it anything you want.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a building,
Right,
nice building.
yeah.
What did the permit cost, Ryan?
This one was 10 cents per square foot for 1,925 square foot would be
$192.
$192.50.
Did that.
I wrote it down somewhere.
They don't do that quick.
Is there a minimum too on that?
25 is your minimum and your maximum is 250.
It's $192.50.
That would be for an accessory structure. If we're going to consider this a new home, that permit fee is 150.
Okay.
there was something stated, there was a fine paid to that you're under, correct?
Excuse me?
Was there a fine you have to pay for this?
We haven't discussed, but we're here.
Yeah, and that's,
We haven't discussed it yet.
Is this the time for that, Ed, or we gotta keep, we
Yeah.
I think it's time to,
gotta have
Well,
fine.
do we have any other questions for them? Okay, yeah, you may be seated. Thank you. Is there any opposition to this project? Okay. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. It would be time for board discussion, which if you want to discuss fines, we could discuss that now.
Yeah, and we want to send a message that, it's not okay to just start building. That they need to find out, come down to the permit office, get the necessary details they need to get started on any project.
Now,
But they paid for that.
Yeah.
They paid at the start.
Yeah, they paid for a garage.
Well, you can call it anything you want.
Yeah, but
on
then,
the bill.
yeah, right, and then, but if we let these people do what they want to do, which, fine and, whatever, we send a message to saying that we're gonna have to start, you have to follow the rules. The rule is, that whatever you say you put on the permit, that's what you're gonna put on it, that's what you're gonna build.
And I will say one thing, and I think I put it in here too. We have added to our permit process, they have to acknowledge that what they are building is what they are applying.
What the design is what they're building.
And
Right.
they have to click
Right.
yes before they can move on.
Right,
the landowner and the contractor.
Just the applicant.
just the applicant, the landowner, property
That-
owner is the person that.
So this reminds me so much of our situation in that you got the contractor applying for one thing, the customer is thinking that they're doing something the right way because they hired a professional, right? And then now there's confusion on the backside of what was applied for versus what was done. I was almost wondering, could we make it to where new construction has to be signed off by the property owner or the project owner versus just a contractor?
Who's the contractor in this situation?
Brothers Construction, I think that's what it said.
Yeah, I think that's what it
Brothers.
is too, yeah.
Is that right?
Build It
Build It Brothers. I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, we're not really familiar with them either.
I've seen them maybe twice on 2 permits, that's about it.
Is that the way they normally do things?
But I think this is, I believe this is out of town. I think they're from out of town, basically.
So if we were, what does our fine and fee structure look like at this point? What would it be? We have one, correct? Even though we haven't implemented it?
The ordinance, in this case, a variance fine, the variance fine is required because construction did not occur as per approved site plan. And that fee is 5 times the cost of the approved building permit in addition to the cost of the variance.
So 192.50 times 5?
So if you're gonna count it as an accessory building, or 750 if you're gonna count it as a new home.
What was that again?
If we're gonna consider it a new home,
Okay,
it's 150 would be your permit fee.
150. The accessory building was how much?
10 cents per square foot with a maximum, or minimum 25, maximum 250. You're at 192.50.
Is that a set fine or is that a up to fine? Set fine, okay.
That includes any inspections that's already been done, right? We're good with all that? Inspections are,
Yeah.
But I still feel like the biggest problem is the septic. Something illegal to the,
Yeah, that's gotta get
I
fixed.
mean, that's the big one.
Yeah, that's the big,
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I see.
that's the health
We've
department.
had
Yeah,
time after time after time, in the last 16 years, we had people that said they were doing this and did something else. But these people are honest, you can tell they're honest. So if we can settle for the septic, then let's go. I don't see a problem calling it anything you want to.
And on our end of it, until we get an approved form of sanitation letter from the health department, we would not issue a certificate of occupancy. So they would need to either do a pump and haul, or put a new septic in before we could issue a
Yeah, I
certificate.
understand that.
And that would include like a leach field?
Yeah, and that would all come to the health department.
Can we ask Travis about that?
were they gonna,
He's with the septic company.
Yeah, we could. Now, the other option we were discussing briefly was subdividing the property, which would be the APC doing that. So at some point in time, they could sell it as well. And if they had 2 leach fields, that would make that a workable situation. But dividing the property and getting at least 2 acres would end up with an unusual looking division here because of the way it's situated on that property. And then they would be back here for a variance setback because it would be too close to the property line. If you draw a line between the 2 properties, you're probably not going to have 25 feet left on either side. So that they don't wish to do that, which means you sell both houses at the same time. Or then you try and subdivide it later, but you need 2 septic systems to ever sell it separately. You know, that's also their consideration.
Yeah,
How
they
they
built
want to
it
flow the
originally
Yeah.
with that intent in mind, already knowing that though.
Yeah, now, that's for them, right?
Right.
And at some point in time, properties change hands, as they all do. So that's the situation going forward. Do we want to require that there be, as a condition of approval, that there be two separate septic systems in case the property needed to be divided at some point? Or do we want them to go with one as their choice? And in which case, we would be talking about the variance of construction.
So what do they
Does
want?
everybody agree?
I think
They want one.
come up to the,
They would want one septic system if possible and have both houses go to it. Okay. Then we would still be looking at the variance of construction
what about parties?
and
And we can do that now, even though the health situation hasn't been taken care of.
Just make a contingent upon the health department.
So if we went that route, it'd basically be contingent on the septic system, and then they'd really be asking for variance for a kitchen sink and an in-law suite is what we'd really be asking for. I'll make a motion to pass a variance for a kitchen sink and an in-law suite, one property contingent on getting an approval from the health department on a compliant septic system for the entire property that comes out of the leach field or out of the drainage towel. Make it compliant with local health code.
Okay.
The fee.
Did you get that all down? We have a motion, basically,
Working on it.
In-law suite.
one
that we're-
septic in-law suite
Then appear.
With a kitchen sink.
with a kitchen sink, right? Which, or might as well say kitchen. That's what it is. So let's make it clear. Okay, we have that motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Do we have any other discussion? Okay,
And that's with contingency of the health department.
Right, got it on here.
okay. Could you give us a roll call, please?
Okay, Atkins,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
No,
Long,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, motion passed. You have your permit contingent upon the health department approval.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move into reports, resolutions, communications, general discussion. Okay. Now, touching upon what we just discussed, we've had quite a few problems with things not being built as planned, and we've not assessed fines, even though we should according to the area-wide zoning ordinance. I think we need to discuss what do we want to do about that. And if we want to say, okay, we need to go by the ordinance, we need to assess fines, when do we want to begin? Because it is not known in our trade group out here among contractors that you're going to be fined.
right.
They've got away with so much for so long that I think word's out,
Yeah,
you know, that things are lax here. And I think if we're ever going to get a handle on this, we need to send that letter to all the contractors saying,
And also offer another
When it
suggestion, Mr.
starts.
Chairman.
yes, go ahead.
Maybe, at least for the next year, hand just a copy of the fee schedule out to each person who applies and the fine schedule to the contractors and the applicants, so they see that they're given notice of it. And then if a violation occurs, we've met our notice requirement of that. It's a little bit extra paperwork, but I think would come in very handy if we ever needed to go to court and pursue it.
I don't want to wait till the end of the year.
No, I'm
I
saying from
understand
this
what you're
point
saying.
forward.
Yeah, oh, okay, so
Yeah, no,
you're
not to the
saying,
end of the year, for this point forward.
this point forward, begin the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of issuing,
May 6th.
okay, May 7th then.
May 7th.
We're pretty close, May
No,
7th.
you're closed tomorrow.
Okay, so,
That way nobody can ever argue notice.
okay,
That's
so,
probably one of the problems I might incur in court trying to
We can get
enforce
the
it.
date down, right, David?
I'm sorry.
We can get the date down and get it started.
Yes, from this point.
From this
forward,
point
and then-
forward,
Yeah, and then no one can ever complain about lack of notice.
Right.
Would the penalty flow to the contractor or to the property holder? Because
ultimately, it's the property
It's
owner.
always the property
owner.
owner.
that's what I assumed. Is there a way, if we're having it, I've not been here long, if we're having a challenge with more of the contractor or the property owner that we
That'd be
is
between them.
misrepresenting?
that'll be between
That's
them.
between them.
They could bring the contractor in if they needed to,
Right.
and join them in the lawsuit.
You know,
What if we did it to
the
the,
owner or their agent?
yeah, I was wondering what we could do to whoever the agent is that actually is applying.
No.
Is if they're being
Indiana
deceptive.
code says the property owner.
Okay.
I bet the ordinance specifies property.
Or their agent.
Is there anything, as Dan suggested, that we can't have both the contractor and the property owner sign off on what permit is being submitted in order to keep accountability between the two of them? Because it appears that we've got this, the left hand doesn't know what the right one is.
That's exactly right.
All right, you know,
That's not our job.
we can try.
I mean, can't you add that to the permit line where, or do they know who the contractor is when they come after the permit?
Well, as we try to get more and more of them to do it online, I don't know how you tell if it's the owner or I mean, the contractor is going to register. I don't know how you get the owner involved there. I mean, our hope is at some point, 50-60% of the permits that we get in are done out there, so that by the time we get them, they're already completed.
Is the owner listed at time of permit? Is the owner's name on the permit as well as the contractor?
Yes.
So we know who they are.
So we have no physical contact with that permit request person in the office.
They'll send it to us to approve. Once we approve it, it'll send it back for payment. Once they pay it, it sends us back to us for scheduling and setting up the additional inspection.
But the problem with that, in my mind, is that it goes down as building, the proposed building, and then when you come to do inspections, it doesn't follow that. How do we follow that?
But one of the hopes I have, and we're going to talk about this in the area planning commission, with this new software, there is 180 days in it. So they get, the contractor, whoever the applicant is getting reminders at 90, 120, and 180 days. At 180 days, it's generating an email to us, and we have since November, December of last year. As it generates that email, we've been putting those on the schedule to go back and run. If you look at our books up there, they're about this wide, and then you would guess there's well over 1,000 there. We actually had an APC member who went in and physically counted every one of them, and there was less than 600. So we've been doing it for about 6 months, and it looks like our 180-day system is working even better than we thought it was. So now we're trying to get into some of the early books to make sure that they are in them. As soon as, if we get them in, we can do a status inspection. As soon as we do that, the time starts again. So the ones that are getting sent over to the site for a year are no longer sending over to the site for a year because they're coming back to us. So that's not a 100% solution, but that's a heck of a step from where we were when I was coming in and had 3 books this thick to try to get through our winter.
Do you do a site inspection before anything starts?
Well, yeah, for the most part, yes.
Do you try and align with what's been submitted to you in regard to the site and any discussions with the contractor or the homeowner in regard to this is what you're going to do based on what the permit says?
We should be there for a stakeout. In like this case, we would be there for a stakeout. We would be there if they're putting any kind of plumbing or anything under the slab. We do an under slab and a foundation inspection. We want to see any plumbing, make sure topsoil's removed, that sort of stuff. Then usually at our foundation inspection, normally we'd say get it up, get it protected, and give us a call for framing. That would be our next step. Then after framing, they would call us, again, if they're doing plumbing, electric, if they're finishing it out. At that point, it becomes a call before you cover. We need to see all electric or anything you're going to bury in the walls. That's usually our rough end.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can help the situation of, not that it's our responsibility, but we could sure prevent some things coming our way if it was done correctly on their end, the homeowner and the contractor's part.
And usually when what we have today happens is we haven't been there in 6 months or a year. And that's when they find. And they usually, we're waiting on a call for a footer. We show up. The one I always go back to, I went to a house over in Upland, and I was there to do electric, and it was for a garage, and I had a square as my picture. And I got there, and it's a 2-story all brick building with a deck. And I walked through it with the contractor, and I said, I said, we need to wait. This is just a two-car garage. He goes, oh. So we walked upstairs and went through and says, this is a bedroom, this is a bathroom, this is a bedroom, this is a. Well, I got Larry, health department. We all was there like the next day. And the owner said, oh, I don't know what they're talking about. This is an office, this is an office, this is an office. So.
This sounds like to me, it has to do with the left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing, 4 people lying. We make both people sign the permit, they can't make that accusation. My proposal would be, what I don't know is what it takes them to get both signatures. Could we allow them to come back with a recommendation of this is the easiest, simplest way to get both the contractor and the property owner to sign the permit or the application for the permit? Give them a month or whatever, next meeting to come back. Here's our proposal of how we do that. But to me, if we got both people signing it, they can't stand in here and say, I didn't know.
Is that APC or BZA?
A lot of what we're talking about is APC. As far as the finding and stuff like that goes, I mean, that's.
Well, they set the schedule. However, we're seeing the problems, so we can direct that the law needs to be enforced. That's
So
one
you
of the
can
things
apply
we do.
this schedule, BZA can
Oh,
apply.
yeah. We could say this needs to be,
Yeah, it's for you to put together.
this needs to be followed by law. We need to follow the law. Yeah.
It's already established.
Yeah, the law is established. We just need to make sure it's being followed. Now, obvious correction is we have the owner sign. That gets the owner involved. The contractor can go in and say something, but the owner needs to know what's being committed to since they're ultimately responsible. I noticed on the building permit here, the owner's name's the only one on here. I don't see the contractor. That's why I kind of asked, when I was looking at this, even though I had read in here in the staff report, it said brothers. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I think we've got the right thing in here with the owner's name as the responsible party here. They need to know what their contractor is doing. They need to sign off on it. And a drawing of what's actually going to be built needs to be submitted. And really, this would be the minimum, It's got some detail in it. It looks like it could be to scale, even though that's not where you can see referenced in here. But this ought to be the minimum. That other drawing, no, that shouldn't be acceptable. To go then build whatever. That could be a little bit where the problem occurs. But we just need to tighten it up a little bit. so that we don't have these situations.
When a contractor comes in to register in Grant County, are they given any procedural information at that time? Because it appears that there's some variations from county to county in regard to inspections and so forth. Or not?
Well, it's, I mean, the entire state is under the same Indiana residential code.
Supposed to be.
But it's, yeah, that's the big, you got some jurisdictions that don't even have a building inspector. Some, you know, between Marion and us and Gas City, we don't, like Gas City doesn't call for roofs, I don't believe, or I think they do now, but there are certain inspections that we do that they might not do. So Miami County, I'm not sure if they've got a county building inspector.
So we have a BZA,
It absolutely varies from county to county. Varies hugely. You're absolutely right.
But I think we're on the right track with notifying everybody from this point forward. These are the rules. This is the law, and it will be enforced.
And we will enforce it.
Yes. So, and it is the area plans office job to do this, collect the fees or fines. You know, it may just be one, it may just be a building permit fee, or it may have a fine with it at some point, but they collect the money. And if there's any question of where the money goes, the APC can talk with the county council about that. But now, let's, I think we're ready for a motion, if anyone would like to make a motion.
to implement the
Fee schedule.
The fee schedule, as David Blickfield recommended.
May I make one more suggestion? I think on the application, it would not hurt at all to have a line added that we have received a copy of the fee and notification schedule, and then they're signing off that they've actually received it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's something worth putting in there.
Yeah.
It's another little piece of evidence, so to speak.
Exactly. Just makes it that much easier to
Check the
go out
box,
to court.
so to speak.
Hey, we got a windmill up here in Lafayette.
I think we had some stray call on there. Anyway, all right. So does anyone want to make a motion to that effect?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm thinking, what's the wording here?
All right. All right.
Let's clarify this for Katie, what our motion is.
Yeah, the wording's gonna be.
Help us, David.
I would suggest a motion be made that a line is added to the application process for, at a minimum, the homeowner, that they sign and acknowledge that they have received a copy of the building permit fee schedule and the fine schedule.
Okay.
And if you want to add the owner, or the contractor, it's your discretion, but at minimum, the owner.
That's possible to do, correct, Brian?
Do the contractors come up to you all the time, up to the office?
Yeah, and I believe we have the fee schedule in the permit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a matter of adding the box to.
Yes,
hey, I actually
Check
read it.
box.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
So we have a motion from Mr. Adkins with a second from Mrs. Jones. Do we have any other further discussion? Roll
Are we
call.
adding to just the owner, or are we doing the owner and contractor?
If you can get the contractor, I'd say add the contractor. But that's why I was asking, do they come to the office? When they
It's
come to
hit
the
and miss on both, so we get owners and contractors, but both of them are always calling in.
If I may, Mr. Atkins made that motion and Ms. Jones seconded it, so I think it's really what Mr. Atkins says. Do you want the both or just the
I
owner?
want to make sure.
I want them both.
There you go.
Both, okay.
Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, Atkins?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Jones? Yes. Long?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. I'll Also, David Glickfield supplied us with a report that Gas City uses, and it comes to the board monthly of all permits. And it has the owner, address, construction type, whatever it is, sidewalks, asphalt re-roof, metal re-roof, shed, estimated cost, and the fee that's paid for that building permit, and when it expires, generally speaking, a couple of years later. And also the date and the owner. And I think this is a good report that we should see every month. And
Why didn't you send us a report?
I think adding the contractor would also make it a little bit better.
Did you send out a report? Or,
Well, you see like, yeah,
I got a report
I
from.
haven't seen this yet, so.
It'd be almost good to have a completion date on there too, show if it's open and closed.
Well, this is a monthly report that we get of what came in this month.
New applications.
Yeah, new applications. Okay.
Motion?
I'll let you take a look at it. And then I think once everybody sees it, we'll be ready for a motion.
That was the director's report, you sent out, Ryan. Oh, director's report, yeah. Okay, I was thinking it was this one.
This is a rather simple report that we want to just pull monthly.
So I make a motion that we request that, or Ryan create, the office creates that on a monthly basis, submits it to us at our meeting.
With the,
Send it out
with the packet.
with the packet, okay?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Atkins and a second from Mr. Pearson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Atkins?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
We have 5 minutes for public discussion. If there is anyone that would like to discuss something with us that's within our jurisdiction, please come to the microphone. And
It's Jerry Solz. You all know who I am. I still don't have answers. The property in Fairmount, the first time Miss Craig filed for an appeal, we were never sent a letter. We found out through the sign in the front yard that it was going to be the variance. So we came and discussed it, and we hadn't been told, hadn't got a letter. So it was tabled at that meeting. I don't know particularly what date that meeting was.
that would have been September 23.
That was in September 23, okay? Then I was told that she would have to come back for another variance, and either the BZA or the APC enacted that certified letters would be sent because people weren't receiving letters, the property owners, next door property owners. The second time, I don't know when she was given her variance. I had some medical issues, but I'm frustrated because you allowed her to get her variance, and figure I neither one was here, and I've asked to see a certified letter, and I was told it was sent to some address in Fairmount. There is no address for Jerry and Peg Solz in Fairmount. And I've asked to see that copy of that certified letter that came back. I can't get it. I haven't received the minutes of the meeting when her variance was approved. Now, Mr. Malott says, put a stop order on my property when he didn't have the proper authority to do it. The ordinance, the building ordinance, does not say anything about fences or anything on property in Fairmount, Indiana. There's an exclusion and exemption in that ordinance. I was given a bogus one, and then when I found the original one, there's nothing there. It says there's an exemption for certain things. A fence under 6 feet, there is no, I need no variance. I was told I needed a variance. Then we found out we didn't need one when we found the proper zoning, the signed ordinance. Now, I talked to Mr. Burton Saturday in Fairmount. Mike Burton, everybody knows Mike Burton, Commissioner. He said there was never another ordinance signed, an amendment, after that one in 2021 was signed September the 20th, or whatever date it was. Now, who enforces what, and how in the Sam hell are we supposed to get the proper documentation and know just exactly what the hell this guy's office is doing? And what he's telling people. Now, he told me after he put a stop order on my fence, he told me before he didn't have any authority to do it. And then he did. And I went in to see him in June, and he told me if I took that stop order down, he'd fine me $500. I go back and look. Nobody in Grant County has been fined any damn thing for years on their permits and their variances and stuff. Now, why am I going to be fined $500 just because he doesn't like me or he's mad at me? I don't have to like him, and I don't care whether he's mad at me. I want him to do his job, and if he's not going to do it, he needs to be fired. Now, I've got all kinds of documentation to approve all this stuff. In September the 25th, he goes over there with Nicole Bailey and tries to mark off property lines. And he goes back to 26th of September and meets with Ryan Gossett and somebody from the street department. And they drive some rebar in and stretch strings, and they say my rocks are protruding into the alley. They were not protruding into the alley. They didn't even hit the survey pins. Now, he has no authority. The street department has no authority. They're not surveyors. I paid for a legal survey. There's a legal survey from Ashton. The pins are correct. Then I understand that he called Mr. Miller and asked him if he was sure all his documentation was correct on that survey. If the house was where it was at, you can't pick up a 100-year-old house and move the sand that's 6 inches. I don't care. Her fence, her corner of her deck is still sticking over the property line. She's been given a variance. She's got little white lights on it now at nighttime so nobody will run into her corner of her porch. My rocks have been moved by the town. They haven't been put back. Another expense that I'm going to have to incur, that somebody's going to pay for in the long run. Somebody's going to pay for it, and it's not going to be me. And I'm frustrated. I went to his office and asked for the minutes of the meeting. Haven't got him yet. Haven't got him yet when she was giving her variance.
The variance would have been in January of '24. Did you send out a certified letter?
I think you asked for it the last meeting.
Yeah, so we've got a packet from
What does the address say?
It says P.O. Box 991 Fairmount, Indiana 46928.
Fairmount, Indiana. My P.O. box is 991 Marion, Indiana, and that's on the damn taxes. There is no P.O. box in Fairmount. I don't live in Fairmount. I plan on building a house over there, but now, since this is concluded, it's screwed up, why you would send it to P.O. Box 991 Fairmount, Indiana? You know better. Our address is Marion, Indiana, and our taxes say Marion, Indiana.
Brenda pulled it up,
Who?
Brenda pulled it up and said that's what was on the property card.
It's not. I've got the property card where I paid the taxes again this year. It's P.O. Box 991 Marion, Indiana. Now, don't give me that bullshit. Now, I want some answers, and I need to know the truth. I want to know when when her variance was given, why we didn't receive a certified letter, and if it came back to you, why the hell we weren't notified. Now Whose job, whose position, who's responsible? Is this guy responsible, his office responsible for everything, for the BZA and APC, or the commissioners want? Does he have free reign to do whatever the hell he wants, whenever he wants to? If he doesn't like somebody, he starts pushing on them. He's pushing on the wrong person. I'm too damn old to be pushed around. And I've had some medical issues, and I'm not going to be pushed around much longer. I want some answers. I want facts and answers. I want to know why a certified letter went to P.O. Box in Fairmount, Indiana. There is no P.O. Box in Fairmount, Indiana for us. Right? That's garbage, just like the first letter that went out we never received. You didn't send me the letter the first time you told me you would. Now, what's right for everybody is right. And if you're going to do what's right, make sure that people are notified when this shit's going on. I've had more than my 2 minutes.
Do you have copies of that, Ryan? Do you have additional copies of that?
Brendan put this together for me
Okay.
today. It's the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, at this time, our time has expired. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
You can make that statement. It should be something, if that's, you want to make that clear from now on. From
We've
here
had
on.
trouble with that up till now.
Well, no, let's not get that started.
Yeah.
I don't even know the name call and all that.
Okay.
I'll work with, So,
Good luck, John.
My goodness, or later. You're good.